Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, welcome to New Life Live. Steve Arterburn here. Dr. Jill Hubbard will be joining us momentarily. Dr. Alice Benton is in the house. And hi, Alice. How are you? Here comes Jill. She's sitting down
Jill.
now. And we are on with you. If you want to join us, if you want to see what everybody looks like and talks like, Facebook Live is the place to go. I think you go to New Life Steve or something like that on Facebook, and there we are, because there's so many other vitamin companies and churches with the name New Life. So anyway, I hope you'll join us on Facebook Live and tell somebody else about it also, because we love getting to be there. Now, I just want to start with this. First of all, a lot of you don't know about our Understanding and Loving series that we were giving away as a thank you. And I'm just going to start by saying this. You're with people more than ever before. Mm-hmm. Nerves are frayed, and we have 8 books that might help you. So I'm just going to run through them, and I'll do this. It's not official, but I'll do it anyway. A gift of any amount, I'll send you any one of these if you go to newlife.com or 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But let's say you have just come to understand that you're loving or trying to love a person that has a narcissistic personality disorder. Oh my goodness. That's really tough to be around that person 24/7. So this could help.
True.
Big. How about a person with an alcohol or drug addiction? And then you discover, oh my goodness, I've actually been helping them develop this addiction.
And sales are up right now.
It's not your fault, you know. That's not what we're saying. But sometimes we do this thing called enabling. All right. Then here's attention deficit disorder. You have tried to have these conversations, and you think the other person is evil because they want to do little tidbits here, there, and all, and you're used to taking your time and whatever. This will help you. Here's another, bipolar disorder. To understand that person and what they're going through can be so helpful to them and you. Borderline personality disorder. Hey, this is exciting. For someone you fall in love with someone, and 5 seconds after you marry them, they're different. And then they're different the rest of their life. And they betray you, and they blame you, and it's exciting. Oh, it's fun to be with that person. But it can be better. That'll help you understand. Post-traumatic stress disorder. This isn't just for ex-military guys. This is if you've had a traumatic childhood, and sometimes the trauma isn't just that one big thing that happened, but sometimes a period of time of deprivation or ongoing stuff can really, really hurt. That's powerful. And then if you're living with somebody who needs to go to every man's battle, this understanding and loving that person with sexual addiction can really help. Those are 8 resources. If you want one, gift of any amount, we'll get it to you.
Steve, yeah. I think we have to add understanding and loving your homeschool child, because I just left the house and 2 out of 3 were crying, and my poor husband needs that book today.
Yeah,
Alice, I think you might be writing that book, because there's a lot of people.
Yeah,
that's why the alcohol sales are up, right?
All right, so if you want to join us, it's 1-800-229-3000. You listen long enough, maybe you won't want to, like the one lady did. She said, okay, instantly they're all graduated from high school, and let's get them out of here, and they were only 7, 9, and 12. But anyway, we want to help you. Hope we've got something we're going to say today that's helpful and hopeful. 1-800-229-3000. If you want any of those books, gift of any amount, you call us 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll be in the studio for 2 hours today, and you can catch us on Facebook Live also.
For years, all I did was focus on my husband, and my needs were unmet because of his sexual addiction. The counselors focused on him, and all the books I read were about him and how to help him.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
This weekend gives me permission to now focus on me.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
I am so thankful to New Life for giving me what I know now is going to be a new life.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas June 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Alice Benton. Your phone calls right now, we're going to go to someone by the name of Shelly, who is a Club New Life member, I am told. And Shelly lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and she listens on the podcast here. Shelly, welcome to New Life Live. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Great. How could we help?
My question is, why does it seem that I have a difficult time being empathetic to other people? And a couple things background-wise. I grew up in an alcoholic family where it feels like you're always having to care for others. I do attend ACA, and I've listened to you guys for about 3 years. But it really bothers me that sometimes I just don't feel like I'm empathetic.
Okay. You feel like people share stuff and you don't connect with them, or what's,
when does it commonly come up, Shelly, for you?
Like when they're sharing a problem, I think sometimes I feel like I have to fix it for them, and I've worked a lot on codependency too.
And what relationships in your life does it come up in that you feel the most struggle?
I would say friendships.
More so than your family? I mean,
my only family is a sister that I am alienated from due to alcoholism.
okay. So not
Can you
married
think of
or kids, Shelly?
Can you think of a specific time when somebody shared something with you and you thought, most people would just be in tears or have such compassion or empathy, and I'm not feeling it. Can you think of anything specific you could share with us?
Wow, you're putting an introvert on the fence here. I have to think here.
No, well, just think for a second. Maybe you start by thinking of a person that has a problem that you're consistently hearing about, and you really lost kind of your empathy or your feeling. Can you think of anything like that?
Yes, somebody who, in my opinion, would be a victim, that they want to continually obsess about a problem without taking the initiative to solve it.
Okay. So, Shelly, did you have more to say? I was going to jump in.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm wondering, because growing up in an alcoholic family, you really have to learn to protect yourself. I'm wondering if there's, what are the situations where you actually do find yourself empathic, right? Are you able to have empathy for yourself when you sit in the ACA meetings? Are there any stories that move you? Or is it, completely across the board, you just don't feel empathy? Or, like what you're describing, you've learned to be very, very discerning. And we're probably so weary from dealing with family members that never got help. I mean, you've set boundaries with your sister. And so to hear someone whining, you know, you're sensing that they're not really being genuine in their desire to change or move through the problem.
That I think is quite accurate, because many times in ACA, yes, I can definitely feel empathy for the struggles that people are dealing with.
Okay, so what you have developed as a result of this very dysfunctional family is a high level of discernment. And it's interesting because, Alice, I don't know about you, but when we sit with people, and Steve, you really learn to kind of tune in to what you're feeling. And in situations where you would normally have compassion, like Shelley, you're not completely void of compassion, right? You're not a schizoid person that just is really compartmentalized and cut off. But you tap in, and there's times, like I'll be sitting with someone, and there's times where it's like, why aren't I feeling compassion for this person? What might be going on? And that's a lot of times when someone is, really disingenuine with the drama that they're displaying, right? So you sense that disconnect in another person, that they're really not going down the right track. It might be, that this is just the drama they keep playing out, right? That they just keep spinning their story and they don't really want to do anything about it, right? Or it might be attention seeking. It might be all kinds of things. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't real hurt underneath. It just means they're disconnected from what's really going on with them. And I wonder if you sense that, along with an intense lack of trust for people because of what you grew up in.
Yeah, just a side note here. Empathy isn't always the premier emotion to have. Mm-hmm. In other words, maybe there are certain things that someone would say to me, it would be appropriate for me to feel disgust before I got to, wow, how did they get to that horrible place in their life? Like, for instance, if I am working with somebody and I find out some of the stuff they're doing with child pornography, and now they're in prison, and they send me a letter, well, I'm disgusted when they describe all that stuff. Then I get into empathy later as I come to discover, oh, look at what happened to them in their childhood, that kind of stuff. So I just think you've got some insight. Like Jill's saying, you've got some insight here. And I wish more people could discern that maybe me falling all over this person's dilemma isn't the way to do it. And I think a lot of people that express empathy don't really feel it. They just know that's where we start. Okay, I really feel badly that you are in this situation, and then they go on. So I don't know. Alice, what are your thoughts here?
Well,
Pick it up from there.
Shelley, I think God is inviting you into deeper work in addition to what you have already done by this realization of yours. And three particular areas come up in my mind. One is that there may be these folks from your past, your parents, your sister, and others who need even more, whom you need to forgive more and process through any remaining completely justified bitterness or resentment that you hold towards them for all the real damage that they have done and probably continue to do. But if you work on forgiving and releasing and even praying blessing over them, it detaches you spiritually from that burden of unforgiveness that you may still have. So look into that with prayer and with a trusted person that can help you see it. And then when these friends of yours go on and on about their problems, you may need to start setting a time boundary with them. I've got about 5 more minutes that I can listen about this with you, and then I got to switch to something else. That's a good boundary to set. Lastly, I want you to practice asking, what do you want from me about this? So that you get clarity from them about their expectation, and you decide whether or not you can fulfill their request. I think that'll help you with this area.
Yep, I do too. All right, glad you called, and let me send you Take Your Life Back. I think it's a great book for you. I think you'll love that. And then I also think some of the things you can pass on to somebody else, that can be there too. You know, sometimes people, I mean, you mentioned it, you need to set a boundary. Sometimes people think that their feelings are so important that anybody ought to be willing to spend any amount of time to hear every level of emotion that's there. It's not realistic. And it's kind of selfish on their part. So you do sometimes need to set a boundary. 1-800-229-3000 is our phone number. 1-800-229-3000. You can join us here. I want to mention that I am on Facebook Live at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. This is my Corona crisis or COVID crisis broadcast I'm doing on Facebook Live. And last night we had our biggest audience and highest engagement ever because I was talking about living in limbo, part 1. Part 2 is this evening. And so if you feel like you are not just in transition, transitions are great. I was in school, doing a little transition, moving toward independence. But limbo can really be confusing and devastating. And you can be in limbo because you were deeply depressed and you're kind of just coming out of it and you feel like, I'm not here, I'm not there. Or you can have an addiction and you start recovery, and that can feel like you're in a state of limbo. We're going to talk about all of that and what we need to do when we're in it. You can join me on Facebook Live at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Tell a friend. I'm also, if you go to YouTube, you can see those, the series we've done. You can also do this. You can see Kirby McCook and the Jesus Chronicles that I'm reading for anybody 8 to 12 years old. Now, before we go to the next call, gotta mention this. We had a great Every Man's Battle workshop. And truly lives were changed. And I was doing a group last night, 85 guys online, every one of those guys working on sexual integrity, all of them in recovery.
85? That's wonderful, Steve.
It was quite the Zoom meeting.
Yes, I was going to say, how did you Zoom that?
Well, my friend Michael Carey does that. It's his group. And it's all out of Northview Church. And some of the guys are from different churches and all. But my point is this. Look, if you're over here on the sidelines and you simply have never, ever thought about, I could be in the mainstream of guys that are getting better, there are a lot of folks getting better. They're in groups. They go to Every Man's Battle. We're going to do another Every Man's Battle in May. So go to newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and get involved. It's never been easier to get into recovery. All right, let's go to Cynthia. We'll talk with Cynthia now. She is calling from Pensacola, Florida, and we're glad that she is. Cynthia, you're on with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Alice Benton. Steve Arterburn here. How's it going, and what's going on in your life today?
I'm just struggling. My husband is 84 now, and for the last year or two, he started going downhill. I'm quite certain he now has Alzheimer's or dementia, but he won't let me take him to the doctor, and he won't go himself, and he's made me promise I won't, put him in a nursing home. And so now it's degrading to the point where, like, I have to tell him in the morning, don't forget to brush your teeth, and he gets hostile now, and he throws the toothbrush, and I drive him around, and he's always nitpicking about how I drive. Why are you driving too slow? Why are you driving too fast? It's just, he's grating on my nerves so bad, and the hostility. I'm just wondering if he would have any advice how a caregiver could somehow care for her declining husband without losing her religion.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine how horrible this must be. Not difficult to be empathetic to what you're going through. Alice, you want to get us started here? What do you think? I mean, he's saying, don't put me in a nursing home, and then he's giving all these orders, and she's following the orders of the man with dementia or Alzheimer's.
Cynthia, I would bet you now feel held hostage to this promise that he extracted from you. You cannot take me to the doctor. You may not send me away. And yet you see that his needs are greater than what you can provide in the home, and it may eventually be putting you both at risk. I think it's definitely already at emotional risk and some spiritual risk here. So I would first have you have a conversation with him, letting him know that you realize you can no longer hold this promise because it's not in his best interest nor yours. You won't be able to love him well with that promise. And so you're gonna prepare him that there are some decisions you'll have to make that he may not approve of and he may not like, but it is out of love and care and concern that you'll be making these moves for his sake. And then you'll have to do it whether he wants you to or not. And we'll give some of those ideas to you on the other side of the break.
All right, 1-800-229-3000. We'll be back with Cynthia and you right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. And so here, what do you guys think? I mean,
well, Steve, he
needs help.
Steve asked a great question, Cynthia, as we were talking about your case over the break. When I propose that you prepare him that you will have to break these promises, does fear and anxiety come up in you, and what are you afraid will happen if you don't hold to those promises you made? Oh, I don't think we've got her on the line.
Oh.
Maybe she fell off. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about
yeah,
it since we can't
so
talk.
that is
ahead,
some
Jill.
concern because, it may be a lifetime of dynamics. And I know it's really hard for people in the latter stages of life when the roles start to change, right? And if you've had this husband who has been kind of large and in charge, and you've been more dependent, to suddenly shift from that, it's hard to admit that that's happening, number one, that your life as you have known it is changing, and that you may have to step into a role that you're very uncomfortable with, right? And that somehow it may even feel disrespectful to him, in his latter years, and trying to give someone dignity and all. And yet this is the time where things do shift and reality sets in, and there are safety issues here, and there are things that, we were talking about that could help him get better. I mean, there's a lot of intermediate steps before you step into a nursing home. right?
And isn't it a tough transition too from we're partners, we're equals to sometimes we have to take on a more parental role for a spouse or a parent that is deteriorating, and we have to make decisions that they're not happy with, but it's for their good.
And Cynthia, if Cynthia doesn't do that, she's going to really resent her husband. She's already irritated with him, right? And that's not how you want life to go out. Right? So she's got to get some care and structure. I wonder who is around her to support, Cynthia, if you're listening, who is supporting you? Do you have other family members? Do you have kids that could kind of step in and say, Dad, we're going to do some things so that, life is better for all of us, so that you're maybe not the only voice in this, and then bringing in the help.
And if there are no family members or Cynthia is isolated and her husband is refusing to do anything, then Adult Protective Services is a resource that can come into the home to then link you, Cynthia, with the help that you'll need with a social worker that will be able to give your husband the treatment that he is refusing and help him to accept it better.
Right. And I would schedule a telehealth meeting where the doctor, comes right into your home in a sense. And even if your husband isn't willing to sit there, Cynthia, you need to talk to the doctor because you need the support.
All the more reason that if you are in a relationship, and we'll just like this, there's a man and he's really controlling everything. And you're like the doormat to this dictator. You need to work on that. Well, but he's saying, drive me here, drive me there.
Right.
I'm not going to the doctor. Keep me out of the nursing home. So you've got to get help. You've got to say, okay, honey,
I'm not doing that.
This has to be different. And you do that before they get dementia or Alzheimer's. But if you're in this situation, you really have to find a way, whether it's bringing other people in. You have to find a way to change the dynamic. You can't be taking orders like this, especially when the orders are making the problem worse. So many people with dementia or Alzheimer's, there is medication that can minimize symptoms, slow down symptoms. There are things that can make it better, not worse. And so you want to be able to access that for that person. So we got to say, look, what does it take for me to take control here? Do I need to bring the other family members in? Whatever it is, I need to do it. And this is, so anyway, I'm just saying all this to give her some courage and incentive. Do what it takes, get the help for yourself so that you can make the good decisions rather than letting him run the show. I'll send you Take Your Life Back. I hope that will be of help to you. All right, let's go to, how about Vanjie, I believe it is, from Canada, listens on Sirius XM. Anybody else? It's 1-800-229-3000. That is the number to call. Hi, Vanjie. How are you today? What's going on?
Oh, good. Thank you. My question is, how else can we help our son as parents with his always up and down? And the background is he has been away from home for 3 years, and he's working, but he phones us when he is low almost every night, and sometimes early morning. And he always quotes the verse, 1 Corinthians 7:9, it's better to get married than burn with passion. And he talks to his dad, and he said, and my husband advised him and pray for him. We advised him to seek a medical doctor or a counselor, and he said no. And he said, after talking to us, he is okay. But then after a week, it goes back again. So, like last night, he phoned at early morning at 2 o'clock. And it's the same issue. And my husband told him that maybe the Lord is not answering because you're not ready yet. And we explained to him, and he said, why is his prayers not answered? And we explained to him that if we don't have any control of that, it's in God's hands. He is sovereign. He sees everything. But somehow he's not getting it. He loves the Lord.
All right. got a couple of questions for you right after this. I think we can give you some help to help him. 1-800-229-3000.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. We're talking with Vanjie. Vanjie, you still there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
We lost our last caller, right in the middle of everything. So had to check, make sure. Now, Vanjie, there are times when you need to respond to your child at 2 a.m. in the morning. One would be when they're 6 months old and they're crying in the night. That'd be a good time to take care of that, right?
That's right.
But not answering the phone at 2 a.m. for this kid here,
or if they
who's
never
always got
call.
the same, yeah.
Right. If they never call at 2 a.m. and they call, okay, maybe there's an accident.
You'd want to
maybe.
answer that.
Yeah.
That's right. But this thing of it being okay for you to be awakened in the middle of the night, that needs to stop. That's one thing that I want to say. Now, at the break, Jill got off on a tangent here that I think might be really helpful to you. So let her talk to you about that. She's got some insight here that I think can help.
Vanjie, I was wondering, but I think we were wondering if your son is into pornography. And a lot
sorry, my husband, because he talks more to his dad, to my husband, rather than me. He only talks to me if he cannot reach to his dad when my husband is working. And my husband asked about it, and he said no. That's he make him accountable, and he told him the danger of that, and also he told him that it's not pleasing to God. And he said he does not do that.
Okay.
So that is just, yeah.
Okay, well, we were wondering about that because of this, fixation on he's got to get married so that, get married so he doesn't lust, right? And it seems to be that there is the piece missing about, before someone gets married, I think, Steve, you were talking about this, they're in a loving relationship, right? And
we explained that.
So there's some disconnects there for your son, and that kind of obsessive way of thinking and really getting fixated on something. But it's also interesting that he's refusing any help. And I love it that your dad, that his dad is involved. I love that, you know, and that he can lean on you guys. But I think your husband needs to say, it's time for us to step in and get some professional help here, and I will go with you. But son, this is what we're going to do next, because I can talk to you and I'm here for you always, but I'm not seeing you move along, and there's some dots that need to be connected that seem to be missing here. And because I love you, I'm going to step in and help you do what I know that you're resistant to. And I understand, because you're afraid, right? So I think your husband can really serve an important role and, you know, move your son along in getting to the next step to get some help.
And I hope I hope you'll limit how much you're willing to listen to him talk about this topic until he will take the next step to get the help. So we can't take these calls at 2 a.m. and we can't go on for an hour or two. But what we can do is what Jill's saying. So that's where we can support you. We're not willing to do the other way anymore, because we realize we're actually probably keeping you stuck, and we need to apologize that we've let these 2 a.m. phone calls go on. So that's why we're making these changes.
Right. It's like it's become like a Band-Aid instead of him really getting some further help.
So Vanjie,
okay.
How old is this? How old is he? He's 20. Is that right?
He's 20.
Where does he live?
He's 20. And the challenge is he lives in another province, which is 2 provinces away from us.
Okay.
And so he is very far. And we can, to go to his place, we have to take a plane. And we
why would you go to his place? Well, why would you go to his place?
I mean, to help him about
to
find someone.
Yeah.
Professional
What is he
help.
doing? Is he working? Is he going to school? What's the situation there?
He is working. He's working on trade. And lately, which helped him, he's working 10 hours. Before, he was working 8 hours, and now 10 hours, which is better because he is occupied and busy. But then we thought he's still
go ahead.
up and down.
Okay, so you know, I would be telling him certainly he needs to get involved with some other young guys that are like in a church group. He needs to be going to church. If he loves the Lord, he needs to go to church, a church that's big enough to have a group of other guys. Secondly, the other thing, other than get married and think getting married is going to fix this burning lust thing, he needs to join an Every Man's Battle group or a support group or a men's Bible study and get involved with some people. And when he's not willing to do that, then you have to say to him, we've given you the answers here, but you're not willing to avail yourself to any of them. And until he does, things are not going to get a lot better. Now, I'm going to send you this brand new, after 20 years, we've updated Every Man's Battle. I'll send that to you. And you can get that to him and anybody else. You know, this has all the stuff in it we didn't know about when we wrote it. And I tell you, it's disturbing when somebody is so dependent on the parent. They're the only ones that they call. Now, we're grateful they're calling somebody. And we're grateful there's a connection. But just like everything, it can be overdone and it can destroy your life. So we want to move a child that's 20, that's working in a couple of provinces away, doing a trade. We want to move them toward not needing to talk to mommy and daddy at 2 a.m. in the morning. And there are all sorts of great, I'll tell you what, I'm also going to send her, Is This the One?, to help him get his dating life in
well,
order.
And he is young. I mean, 20 is young to be that far away from home and working, but it's time to be moving along, right?
But Steve, I'm glad you bring up that book, because we can also get stuck waiting for the right person to magically appear and find us. But if we're not proactive about getting out and getting to know people of the opposite sex, then we may stay stuck, stagnant, and very depressed about it. So there's definitely action to be taken here on his part.
Yep. Okay, I hope that's helpful. If you want to join us, we're going to be in the studio for another hour after this. 1-800-229-3000. Let's go and talk with Nancy, Hartford, Connecticut. And she listens online. Glad she does. Hi, Nancy. Welcome to New Life. How are you today?
Oh, hi. I'm good. I've called because I have a hard time setting boundaries with my husband. I've done everything. He doesn't share any of the household responsibilities. I've done everything. He's very strong-willed. He doesn't do anything, pretty much. He says that's my priority to keep the house in order. Even
how long have you been married now? How long have you been married?
Almost 10 years. 10 years.
10
but we have
years.
We have a 1-year-old, and I also work from home now due to social distancing. So so I'm taking care of a 1-year-old and working from home, and he says that my work is not as demanding, and he's always done this though before the social distancing started.
Okay, so let me ask you a quick question, and this is and I get it that you might be a little distracted there. Why? Why do you think he's like this? Why is he? Background, experience, his parent. Why do you think a guy is like this? That he's so uncaring and unloving to you. Mm-hmm. Why? Any idea?
I know acts of service is not his love language, and
clearly,
I think when
this is not about this is not about love language. His love language right now is hate, because he's not. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So why do you think
he gets upset? Well, I think he grew up not taking on any of these responsibilities. He grew up in a broken home. He was raised by his mother, and she was emotionally unstable, and she never asked him to do chores around the house. Okay. I think that's part of it. I'm not sure.
What were you attracted to? What were you attracted to 10 years ago? What was so fantastic about this guy?
Well, he's a Christian, and to me, he was godly at first, but things that he does right now, I question it.
Like what? What do you question that he does?
Well, like things like this, like he's not loving towards me in regards to sharing in the household responsibilities. But he thinks that because this is my priority, it's not his priority. It doesn't need to be done. If he had his way, the house won't be clean, or even the outside of the house. Like when we have snowstorm, the house doesn't get shoveled right away. Like it'll be left unshoveled for like a day or two. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a name for this type of personality. I'll give it to you after we get back.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly. and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We're trying to help Nancy in a situation that many times women find themselves in. This is our second husband who is demanding, distant, and all of that. Alice, get us started here. What do you think she could do here to make things better?
Well, I've got to explore one other question quickly. Nancy, do you suspect any substance use, pot, alcohol, addictive behaviors?
No, but I know at times when I check up on him, I found him watching inappropriate videos, like on YouTube. When I was on maternity leave, he took 2 weeks of paternity leave, and like the first or second day into it, I found him watching inappropriate content from YouTube.
And what makes you think he's not doing that anymore?
No, actually, I confronted him about it, and it's been an ongoing thing. I don't think he does it on a regular basis, but he goes through, like, since we were married 10 years ago, I would find him on these sites, and he would apologize, and he would go on for a while, and then he'd go through phases. And I asked him to get help or do something about it, and he said there's nothing he can do about it because he's good with technology.
So
and
this makes so much sense, Nancy, because a pornified man, he sees you the way it feels to us that he sees you. You are a role, you're an object, you're a thing, you're a something. You're not a full, equal, amazing crown of creation female. You're just a convenience to him, and that's the way men who use pornography function with women, just like he's doing with you. And I have no hope for you in your marriage whatsoever until you demand that he get help for his lust, his sexual addiction, his pornography problem, his video viewing thing that's come from the beginning. Until he deals with that, he will always see you as a role, as a thing, as an object, not a woman. He's not treating you the way a Christian man treats a woman. Jesus honored women.
So, Steve, what's underneath that is he needs to get help for his shame and his inadequacy and his lack of knowing what it really means to be a husband and a man of God, right? That's underneath it. And I think, Nancy, finding a way to say that to him, that you see these things, that what you're getting from him is so, not the man you fell in love with, and that it's really hard for you to see so much selfishness on his part, and yet that perhaps it's really being fueled by these other feelings. And so he's doing things that he knows are not right? Even if he's not doing it all the time, even if it's not the worst thing he could be doing, he's doing these things to try to kind of have a distraction, to boost himself a little bit, and it's not working. And it's putting a wedge between you and him. And now you guys have a child that you're responsible for being examples for, and it's time, right? It's time to do something different. And Steve,
until, just to say this, until you see his little problem there, and until you see it this way, every now and then he just uses a little bit of heroin. I mean, if that's what he was doing, every now and then I walk in, he's just shooting up a little bit of heroin. What would you do in that situation? You wouldn't just act like there's no problem and, hey, you ought to get some help from that, honey. No, that's how bad it is. It's just heroin actually doesn't impact his feelings toward women the way pornography does. Joel, what was the other thing you wanted to add there?
Well, okay. Additionally, we now have Every Man's Battle online, so it's easier than ever to be a part of. He's already sitting at the computer. Why not sit at the computer and get some information that could change his life and your life? But I would also say to him, if you are unwilling to consider my feelings and to make me and our child a priority, then I am unwilling to do everything for you that I've always done for you, because I am trying to get you to see. And so if I can't do it with my words, I'm going to show you with my actions that this is not a partnership.
Right. Okay. I'm going to send you a copy of Worthy of Her Trust. You ought to just give it to him and hey, you need to read this. And if I were you, I would really demand that he go to Every Man's Battle, but you don't have to go to it. You just participate.
Just go to the other room.
All right, if you want to join us on the next program, we're going to do another program right after this, 1-800-229-3000. We would love to have you join us then. In the meantime, by the way, don't forget, I Still Believe is available. You can get it on demand. It's out in the theaters, doing great, and then here came the virus. I'm not going to transition from virus to Larry. They have nothing to do with each other. But Larry, you are here in the studio.
Just keeps coming
talk
back.
to us a little bit.
I want to affect everybody differently. I want to affect the giving spirit.
Okay, I've been watching this every day, and we are having such a great response of people signing up for Club New Life, and people not canceling in great number. It's wonderful. And so what do you want to share with us today about our need for support?
Well, our need for support is as great as it's ever been because of this coronavirus, because of uncertainty. You know, we're certain that God's got this, and we're certain that we're going to make it. I feel like we're blessed and highly favored, even though I don't see the end completely. I know it's going to end well. But here's why. I mean, I think of this radio program. I just keep wanting to pump up how important this is. And, you know, it does cost us a lot of money to put it up on the air. But this person wrote us, this lady said, I grew up experiencing emotional, mental, physical abuse. As a child, I believed I would spend my life in a mental hospital. Without godly counsel and your ministry, that probably would be where I would be. I grew up believing all the lies I heard. I'm writing this to share my gratitude to your ministry and our awesome Savior for the help you've given me via the airwaves. Your words of truth and grace have not only encouraged me, but equipped me to recognize toxic people, unhealthy churches, etc. So, think of what you hear on this radio program. Think of those of you that have gained help because this radio program has touched on topics you didn't have the courage or chance or opportunity to call about. But boy, somebody else did, and it made a difference in your life. So Club New Life is the primary thing I want to ask you about today, because as we can increase that, if we didn't have Club New Life, we would be in a world of hurt right now. Yep. But Club New Life has been a saving grace for us. And I want to just say thank you and God bless you to all the Club New Life members. If you can join $30 a month or more, or if you can add 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, whatever dollars per month to your Club New Life giving, huge help. So thank you for supporting New Life. We're in it together.
Yeah, and if you can, we'll send you the transformation pack. We're a transformation ministry. You know, we're not here to help people just feel better. We want to see total transformation, and it's possible with God. We'll send you Life Recovery Bible, the journal, the workbook, and 4 brand new workbooks. And these workbooks can really help you or someone you love. The topics are eating disorder, up or down, divorce, sexual integrity, and this so valuable one for grief. You call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You tell them, I want to join Club New Life, or I want to up what I'm giving, and we'll get that to you. We really do need your help, and we're so grateful when we get to help you. It's the same number, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now, once again, at 5 o'clock, I'll be on Facebook Live with you. We'll be talking about living in limbo. And if you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you want to join us on this next program, it's the Alice Benton Birthday Show. It's 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. Come join us. We'll be in the studio for another hour. We love you. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.